Cameroon's Prime Minister, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, was in Buea on Tuesday to chair the second evaluation meeting of the Grand Measure National Dialogue to look at the level of implementation of recommendations that were reached at during the Major National Dialogue that took place in Cameroon on September 30th, 2019, in which resolutions were arrived at in resolving the ongoing Anglophone crisis, alongside some other conflicts plaguing Cameroon, like the war of Boko Haram in the northern part of the nation, and also security challenges in the east region with Seleka rebels. The Cameroon Prime Minister briefed the audience in Buea at the level in which government has implemented the recommendations that were reached at. Though not all have been implemented, however, he enjoined the people of Buea to embrace peace and shun violence. In other words, call on those who are still fighting in the bushes to drop their arms and welcome the head of state vision and mission in rehabilitating and in reconstructing mindset and reconstructing the northwest and the southwest region of the country. The Prime Minister, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, known as a man of peace by many in Cameroon, was not only there to preach peace, but he was also there to encourage those who have dropped their arms to see for ways in which they can bring peace in the Republic of Cameroon. However, there is a science theory, Newton, that states momentum before collision is momentum after collision. Simply put in scientific terms, that to every action there is an equal but opposite reaction. By this, we have witnessed it in the ongoing Anglophone crisis in the northwest and the southwest region, and also in a visit of the Prime Minister, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, in the southwest region. When we talk about to every action, there is equal but opposite reaction. It is clear in that the Prime Minister was in the southwest region. Cameroon's Minister of Defense, Betty Assomo, was in the northwest region, preaching the new strategy which has been put in place in order to crack down on these separatist activities within Bamenda, whereas in the southwest region, His Excellency Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute was preaching peace. A similar situation happened when he was appointed as Prime Minister. He came to Buea and preached that dialogue will come and that the head of state is looking for ways to dialogue with those who are actively involved in the ongoing armed conflict in the northwest and the southwest region. At the same time, a fellow minister was talking that the head of state will not dialogue with those who are involved in conflicts in the northwest and the southwest region. We are witnesses that after the Prime Minister left Buea, guns are still smoking, bullets are still flying helter-skelter. The common man in Gokitunja, Bamising, Batibo, Widikum, Munya, Ekona, Mai 16, Agokun Jaman, Kwakwa, Bole, Nake, Bombe Bakundu, Ediabato Isangele, they keep paying the price of a war that can be avoided. The question they are asking, what will it take for this war to come to an end so that our children will go back to school, so that the businesses that we used to have before will continue in booming? Will this war come to an end within the terms in which we are seeing today? This is House of Commons with me, Tah Mai Javis.
Since 1993, EUG is 3 schools: ESG, ISTA, ISA, 3 ultra-modern campuses with more than 40 specialties in BTS, HND, DCEP, professional bachelors and professional masters. More than 15,000 graduates and more than 115 million francs scholarships granted to students. Many national and international partnerships, and more is still to come. At EUG,
we train leaders since 1993.
A happy Sunday to all of you watching us from different parts of the world. Happy Sunday to those who are watching us in different corners of Cameroon, especially to the people of the Northwest, the Southwest region, and those watching us at the Unity Palace in Yaoundé. I begin the program by introducing to you my guest with whom we are going to have a 1 hour 30-minute discussion here this afternoon, just to remind you that all stakeholders for this program were invited to take part on this edition because it is very sensitive and we needed a balanced panel to look at these issues. Today's edition of the program, I begin by introducing to you Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, who is a regular on this panel. However, he is a social entrepreneur and someone with a vision that the state has to go in for a confederation in order to further consolidate national unity and strengthen development and bring in a new curriculum from our educational sector that will be hands-on and competent based in such a way that the children will be able to learn practical modalities in developing their nation and not depending on importation as the case is now in Cameroon. Dr. Nick Ngwanyam is also the founder of St. Louis, which is located in different parts of Cameroon and seemingly may one day diversify to other parts of the world. Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, happy Sunday.
Oh, thank you very much. Good afternoon and happy Sunday to our listeners. It's a pleasure to be with you again. And as you know, we are looking at some very sensitive issues in our nation today. We need peace at all costs. There's a lot of blood being spilled all over the whole place, and only the truth, spoken in love and respect, can save us. If we keep going around in circles like we've been doing, nothing is going to work. And I'm going to be very careful with my words today. And when speaking, I know that His Eminent Christian Cardinal, to me, his spirit is listening to me, and I will not hurt his spirit in any way. And I will carry on with the mission that he left until the goods are delivered, because there's a lot of manipulation and lies telling which is hurting the nation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam. And also here in the studio we have a civil society advocate, someone that's always in balance from the word go when this conflict started. He is very visionary and has been there to ensure that we must look at things the way they are and not the way they ought to be, and that Cameroonians must embrace peace and be able to be brought to book when they are guilty, that justice must always prevail. He is Ndewum Emmanuel. Ndewum Emmanuel, a privilege to have you and a happy Sunday.
Yes, Tah Mai Javis, thank you very much once more for renewing the confidence in us. I greet my senior co-panelist, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam. It's once more a pleasure. And to all the million viewers of the program House of Commons, where the voice of the common man is heard, the mouthpiece of the common man. Thanks for the invitation.
And also we are hoping to have Mr. Ngalim Bernard, who will be joining us via Skype, while our technical team is working on getting to him via Skype. We want to say happy Sunday to all those of you who are watching us. And I begin the program also to inform you that I did invite CPDM, diehard CPDM, Valerie Manenge, who was to be here. We are still waiting for him to come, and also Dr. Eyong, who is to come from Yaoundé. We still await his arrival here in the studio. So to say that the panel was supposed to be balanced, as always the case is, with the CPDM yet to come, you can see we have 2 different seats vacant, and we will kickstart the program as it is said in literature. With me or not with me, life goes on the same. Begin the program with you, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam. You got the editorial. We are 5 years on into the conflict in the Northwest and Southwest region. Lot of theories, lot of hypotheses, lot of discussions, lot of meetings, delegations, lot of sitting, lot of punching, accusations. We keep rigmaroling in the same circle.
I like your word, rigmaroling. That's exactly what has been going on. In reality, we have problems in our country, many types of problems, different colors. And if truly we wanted to solve the Anglophone problem, if we really wanted to solve it, 2 weeks is too much. 2 weeks. The Anglophone problem needs just the word, the right word, and it's done. So if it's been dragging on for 5 years, it's because we refuse to speak the word and to do what is right, to do what is just, and to do what is true and good. That's the bottom line. And if you see what is going on now, the Prime Minister going up, people going up and so on, we are dragging the debate from the real issues and taking them to things that that have no meaning and that do not matter. The problem is that the leaves of the tree are yellow. Some people say the leaves are green. Some say the leaves are orange. But the problem is not whether the leaves are yellow, orange, or green. The problem is that there's a tumbu that is eating the roots. That's where the problem is, and we don't want to look at it. And we spend useful taxpayers' money. We spend a lot of resources running up and down to be arguing about the color of the leaves and special status, major national dialogue, as long as those things are not built on the foundation of truth. That's why we are where we are today. And until we go back to the truth, we are wasting our time, because the Anglophone problem is not the major national dialogue and whatever came out of it, we call it special status, reconstruction, whatever. That is not the solution to the Anglophone problem.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ningwanyam. Those of you watching us on Facebook, we want to say happy Sunday to you all. Happy Sunday to you, to Fondon Richard. Happy Sunday to you, Shea K. Woom. Happy Sunday to you, Aqua Rigobert. Happy Sunday, Maxime Max and Comnel Tawi, Bobby. Mark Amos, Andy, Tabot, Rappel. Happy Sunday to all those of you. Keep your comments coming in, and of course share the video as we start the debate. Diwum Emmanuel, you watched the Prime Minister's visit in Boya. You got the news of the Prime Minister's visit in Boya. This is not the first time that Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute is going to Boya, but this time he's going to chair the second evaluation meeting of recommendations that were reached at the major national dialogue.
Tah Mai Javis, permit me to recall to you how this crisis started. It won't be long. It started with certain demands from the lawyers and the teachers, of which in that process they were well beaten like nursery school children, dragged on the mud. Their dignities were wounded in public. It went to the arrest and detention of people who only voiced out their concerns because of their patriotism for the nation. We left from free all arrested to bring back our internet. We left from bring back our internet, and boys started picking up machetes, rubber guns, and stones. At that early stage, we spoke to the government, a government that was already long on vacances that we did not know. They did not listen. They promised us that in 2 weeks they were going to eliminate all the terrorists, and that the dogs that were on the streets were to be completely wiped off in a week's time. It never happened. Before we knew it, the boys were already using the chat rooms. The government was still very adamant. Before we knew it, AK-47 came into play. The government still promised us that everything was in control. Some of them even said there was no Anglophone problem. This makes me to remind you, Tah Mai Javis, and our listeners today, that in the 21st century, Cameroon is the only government that has followed the error, or that has repeated the error that the Nazi regime did. I want to tell you that in 1933 in Germany, when Hitler rose up, he was immediately thrown into the prison without any thought of dialogue. And it is because of the opportunity in the prison that he wrote the Nazi Bible that was called Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf in the German language translated into English meant My Struggle. The book gradually circulated from his prison cell to those who bought Hitler's idea, because at that time about 8 million plus Germans were dying of hunger because of unemployment. And you know, when people are hungry, they'll easily buy an idea. How do I link it to the context of Cameroon today? The Agbobalas, who were moderates, federalists, were immediately sent into jail. And these boys took this idea, the Tapangs and the Magbaretas, translated it into what the Anglophones have been suffering since 1961. Today we have two different crises in Northwest and Southwest. Whether you like it or not, we have the Anglophone crisis and we have the Ambazonian crisis. Anglophone crisis can be managed, but the Ambazonian crisis, for God's sake, is a hot potato, being very hot on the esophagus of the government.
So to you, you feel like the government
Listen,
is solving just one of the crises, or is unaware that there are two crises that are plaguing in the Northwest and the Southwest region?
They might be aware, but the negligence of the government is what gave birth to the two crises. Because if from the onset the government had lended us an ear, should have known that you bend an iron when it is still hot, but you let loose the doors of opportunities for the separatists to come in. And today, who is paying the price? The innocent military. I call them innocent because they did not bargain for the war and they never declare any war. The innocent Amber. I call them innocent because they did not program for war, but they were pushed to fight a war. So you see, when you deal with a government that has refused to take the voice of its citizens, the outcome is where we are today.
Okay.
So the Prime Minister can go to Northwest and Southwest 1 million times. He is carrying water in a basket. He's walking in the desert. He's chasing the wind, and he will not succeed to bring down the wind. Because first of all,
briefly, so I can get to Dr. Nick.
We have enough time now,
yes.
Tah Mai. Because first of all, the Prime Minister, permit me to say, some of all look at him to be a figurehead. Because I cannot understand how the Prime Minister, who is the head of government, programs a visit to Boya the same day. Then a minister in charge of defense at the presidency programs a visit to Bamenda. That is a slap at the face of the Prime Minister. And it tells us that what we have been crying, we love John Gote, and we think that for him to go into the history books, he should call credible media houses like you people one good afternoon or one morning, chair his resignation ceremony, and tell the public that his hands are tied.
But the Prime Minister, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, has been very active in mitigating or reducing these conflicts and ensuring that peace return in the trouble-hit Northwest and the Southwest region. We saw when he was appointed, he went to Bamenda, he went to Boya, and he preached peace, and he said that he is working on the way in which this conflict can come to an end. And he is someone too that has an international experience as far as handling crisis is concerned. When he was in Boya, he articulated a series of measures that the government has implemented so far. A series of the implementation of the resolutions that were reached during the Measure National Dialogue. One of it, he talked about the issue of the spatial status, and which he talked about the setting up of the regional assemblies, which is in full gear. As we speak right now, the DDR Center is highly active, in which people, combatants, are dropping their arms. And so the Prime Minister also pointed out the aspect in which the reconstruction, people need to give way for reconstruction to begin as far as this conflict is concerned. Yes, we are at war, but hospitals need to be reconstructed. So those were some of the things that he articulated as far as this conflict is concerned. So in his visit to Boya, will you for sure say that there's progress being made from the government perspective?
You can only make progress if you are doing the right thing, if you are walking on the right path. I read a book where I think is this book, Why A Students Work for C Students and B Students Work for Government, by Robert Kiyosaki, if I'm not mistaken. and he was trying to illustrate what it is like to use a plan. No, it was not that book. It was the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And it works like this. If you go into a city, if you are going to a city that you don't know, you buy the map of the city. When you buy the map of the city and you use that map, you'll be able to get along in the city. But if you have the misfortune of buying the wrong map, you would do a lot, you would trek all over the whole place, you would do a lot of things. But because the map is not the map of the city, all your efforts are wasted. That's what the Prime Minister is doing now. He seems to be putting in a lot of effort, and he's actually burning the midnight candle to try to make a wrong map work. That is the problem. And therefore, it's wasted effort, wasted time, and wasted resources. Because at the onset, he knew which map to use, but he refused to use it, and then he crafted some other thing thinking that it will work. And today, it's not working. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what he does. He could go up, come down, cut his flesh, it won't change anything, because you are using the wrong map, you are using the wrong strategies, and that's not how it works. It only works if you do the right thing. So working too hard, doing the wrong thing is not a solution.
Are you saying implementing the special status is not the solution? Because they said the special status was in the Constitution.
Well, okay, let me tell you about the special status. Maybe just give me a few minutes. Now, let's step back a little bit. In 1996, when the country was burning, there was this thing called the tripartite, at which they put together the Constitution of 1996, and in that Constitution they injected something called decentralization. And what was injected at the time was just meant to deceive the Anglophones, and after that they went and put it on the shelf. That's what happened. Then the Anglophones, things started to boil and boil and boil, and we came up with this thing called the Major National Dialogue. And while at the Major National Dialogue, one of the key kingpins of the nation, who knew that there was a small thing hidden in the Constitution, he raised up his hand. You see, we forgot something in the Constitution. It says decentralization. It says special status. It was there. It says special status, and then everybody, congratulations for being one magnifying glass did you use to see that? But it was there 23 years ago. So they get up, this is the great thing. And then they cook up this thing now called special status, and they panel beat it and give it empty content. They put in things that have no meaning. Let me show you how they trap you. I think there was the first edition of it that came, and people complained. I don't know whether it was corrected in the assembly, where they said the Anglophones may correct, which means that you can even I can't get the words very right, very correctly, but it was conditional. Even if you wanted to change your constitution, you couldn't. Your educational system, you couldn't just do it just because you want to. You would have to lobby for it and get it. Now, but after having corrected it, there was some other thing in it that I was not even aware of until Mr. Wara was here with Ngam to talk about it. In the last part of the law on special status, they say something which is a catchphrase, a key to tell you that thing is hopeless. What do they say? They say that the governors and SDOs shall give all their powers to elected officials. That means these presidents of the regions or whatever, they shall hand over those powers. But they did exactly the same thing that they did in the 1996 Constitution. They don't tell you that they will hand it on this day. They will hand it on the 22nd of September this year.
Or they will hand it immediately after an election is called.
Yes.
There's no time frame.
No time frame. Not at all. Not mentioned. And therefore, as long as it is there, even 50 years afterwards, they are right. They told you that is there, and therefore we all have to be waiting until some goddess is going to come and do it. That's how they trick Anglophones. That's how they trick you. That's how they trick Cameroonians. That's how they trick
Then
the
how
world.
can they, Dr. Nick, you are the Grand Measure National Dialogue. How can they trick Cameroonians or Anglophones where we have Anglophones elite who are in these same regions and fighting for our interests?
No, those elites are...
Because maybe we are looking at it from a wrong side and they are looking at it from the right prism, because we cannot be saying that we have Anglophones elite and we are claiming that we have been tricked. Of course, the Prime Minister is an Anglophone, the Minister of Territorial Administration is an Anglophone, Minister of Secondary Education is an Anglophone, we have Reconstruction, Head of Reconstruction is an Anglophone, Power Taxation is an Anglophone, we have other ministers that are Anglophones and fighting for our interests.
Let me tell you something. Forget about Anglophone, Francophone. Tell me that we have good people and bad people I would accept, okay? Tell me that we have... Listen, Anglophones or Cameroon, the whole population is divided into two groups of people. A group of liars and a group of people who tell the truth. A group of good people and a group of bad people. A group of hungry, greedy people and a group of people who are ready to share for the interest of common good. It is not very much the language Anglophone, Francophone. Because amongst all these people that you have named, two people. I mean, you take two people. If you take Mr. Dieudonné Essomba and you take His Excellency Abuem Achoe, these are Francophones. They do a better job than all of these our elites in government put together. Just those two Francophones. They do a better job than all this bunch of our Anglophone, call them whatever name. I'm telling you that these two people are more, they are Francophones, but they are more useful to the Anglophone person and to the nation as a whole than all these people you have named. They care more about their stomachs.
No, you cannot say that, because these are people who have been working actively to consolidate national unity.
They have been working actively to consolidate their stomachs.
Why? No. But
I said stomachs.
Dr. Nick Ngwanya, before coming to Ndiwum, we have seen Minister Paul Atanganji on the field.
He's not working for Anglophones.
Him ensuring that the nation becomes united and stable.
Nobody said the nation is not united. The nation is very united, and you have heard me say that there's going to be a true dialogue. It's coming. There's going to be reconciliation. There's going to be unity as it ought to be. That is coming. It is not saying it is what are you doing to make it right. And if you are doing it and you're not speaking the truth in love, in respect, it's a lie.
Okay.
So it's not about going around shooting and killing people and kicking people. That is not the solution.
Good afternoon, Javis and panelists. The Anglophones have spoken loud and clear, but some political parties and Francophones, on the other hand, are contented with the state of affairs. What therefore make Cameroon one and indivisible? Ngole Hane from Limbe. This one read, good afternoon, Mr. Javis, to our panel. The idea that there are two problems in southern Cameroon, the Anglophone problem and the Amazonian problem, that Mr. Ndiwun just repeated, is a divisive and dangerous notion of our people. We must never forget that as far back as in 1994, the most representative gathering of Southern Cameroonians, called AAC2, came out with a resolution which stated that if Cameroon does not discuss federation, Southern Cameroon will declare that the Anglophone problem is just a progress to the Amazonian crisis as predetermined by the AAC2. It is one problem, not two problems. Julius Chofor, watching from the United Kingdom. This other one reads, it says, happy Sunday to you, Tah Javis and panelists. Just from the look of things, I see love, truth, and patriotism in Dr. Nick Ngwanyam and Ndiwum Emmanuel. The truth is bitter and must be spoken. May God continue to protect you guys. Charles, writing from Yaoundé, once more, happy Sunday to you all. This other one reads, it says, greetings to all proud Anglophones, learned minds in the studio. You always make my Sunday after Mass. Kudos, my son Javis, Ma Evelyn from St. Charles, Luanga Parish, Moliko Boya. Ma Evelyn, happy Sunday to you. And as Christ said, peace I leave you, my peace I give you. Peace be unto you too. This other one reads, it says, greetings to all panelists. The PM was in Boya preaching peace and seeking ideas from all stakeholders on how the crisis can be solved. But ironically, the Minister of Defense was in Bamenda developing new war strategy to combat the separatist fighters. Who is now fooling who? Pekwe Grigory writing there. This other one, it says, happy Sunday to you. Nice program coming from the studio. God bless Dr. Ningwanyam and Jim Emmanuel. Nice to have their view objective. This one reads, say, hi. I was a little bit disappointed with the PM's visit once, but the stakeholders who are really affected by this crisis were not part of the dialogue. One chief who ran out of their village only appeared during the PM. To me, all was just to show Bollywood dance. It's Mullah Wakache Egwili. Sorry if I did pronounce your name wrongly. And Diwum Emmanuel.
Yes, before I come to your question, there is something very important I should say. You see, the viewer who said what I said is a divisive notion. Let me try to edify him a bit. What I'm saying is coming from a standpoint, a historical standpoint, my dear viewer. In 1963, just 3 years after the reunification of Cameroon, Dr. Kika Bernard Fonlon cried out loud that Cameroon was sitting on a time bomb if nothing was done to immediately put into place what was said in the Fumban conference. Later on, he was part of the people who started even thinking that the separation of Cameroon was imminent one day if nothing was done. That was part of the genesis of the Amazonian crisis. But when we talk about Anglophone crisis, we are talking about the one that emanated from 2016, which was just an immediate cause, because we have gone through thick and thin in this union. Remember De Gaulle, I cannot really situate the year, telling Ahidjo not to waste any time in francophonizing the Anglophones, because it will, if he permits them to continue with the British culture, it will become difficult for them to be francophonized with time. And Mr. Abia confirmed it with Mo Ibrahim in France, that we have tried to assimilate them and they have been stubborn to this assimilation process.
Was that his word? He said on avait la possibilité de les intégrer.
Ça n'a pas marché.
Ça n'a pas marché. You are repeating
Said
the
there
same
was the
thing.
possibility of integration.
Yes, on a essayé, ça n'a pas marché. Yes.
But
I am not the one.
you are saying that he said he failed, that they wanted assimilation.
But it has failed.
He
That
was
is,
talking about integration. To integrate
Tah Mai Javis. I am telling you that Mr. Bia reconfirmed what De Gaulle had told Ahidjo to do. And that I, Mr. Bia, came to power and I have tried. It has failed. Yes, that one. Look, and today we are fighting because we have resisted that assimilation. These are two people that came together. Now, to talk about reconstruction, something should be very clear here, Mr. Tah Mai Javis. You cannot reconstruct while you have not successfully dealt with what destroyed. There was destruction, and you want to come with reconstruction.
But deal with Emmanuel, you just raised an issue that you cannot reconstruct without dealing with. The government has called for the Grand Major National Dialogue, and that is part of solving what destroyed the Northwest and the Southwest region. And secondly, the government had created the DDR Center, Disarmament Demobilization Center, where those combatants can, come and drop their weapons and say, okay, we are committed, we are sorry, we have gone wrong, and, let's come on, move forward. We have a good number of them at the DDR Center, and that special status have been given to Cameroonians, and other issues, the Regional House of Assembly, budgets have been voted. These bodies need to be given a full functionality. The public, the Prime Minister said the public, those in Northwest and Southwest region, have to allow these bodies to prove their worth. And that's why the government is saying that, okay, now that we have this body, this regional assembly and these divisional assemblies, let us go to work. Let us, move forward and reconstruct. And you are saying the government has not done it. From which perspective now?
Tah Mai Javis. So the government needed to have waited for 39 years so that people are killed, people are murdered like chicken before they come with a grand national monologue, as you are calling it, dialogue. Tah Mai Javis, remember the first bullet in this war came from the government. If the government was humble enough, because humility costs nothing but buys everything by virtue of nature. If this government was humble enough, the government exists when its citizens exist. If the government was humble enough, the government would have tendered an apology to a people in this country called Anglophones. And from there, we would have seen that there is good faith. Anything the government is doing now, there is no good faith attached to it.
Okay.
That is why the PM is talking about reconstruction. And the Minister of Defense is talking about complete strategy to wipe out everything terrorists. And you see that this government is in no way working in cohesion. That is why you will discover that when the Prime Minister is saying he wants peace, the other ministers say we don't seek peace with terrorists. Wisdom has it, Tah Mai Javis, that when you are drowning, if you find a snake and there's a possibility to hang on that snake and save a life, you do it. But in our context, our government has chosen war. And I want to tell you that fight this war for 1 million years. Use the military strategy. The war is unwinnable in either side. We will keep losing lives, but nothing shall come out of it.
Before going to Dr. Nick, let me take some few messages and I'll do a follow-up. This one says, good afternoon, Tah Mai and your panelists. Nice program, but must confess that we are tired of this ping-pong game of the Prime Minister for Peace and the Minister Delegate for Defense mobilizing for war. Who are we fooling? Shea Legend from Yaoundé. This one read, it says, while our Republic is afraid to sit down with Southern Cameroonians to talk, they know that they know what they did to West Cameroon, but your content your message is gotten. And this one read from Song Derrick, one of our panelists. He says, hello Tah Javis and panelists. The PM is putting his super intelligence into mud. He is a fine brain. He knows the truth. He knows what to be done, but he is walking on rural road, teleguided from the A to the B compound. If the cause of this war is lies telling and assimilation, then the solution is truth and dissimulation. The more they delay, the more delicate it becomes. It is a pity to hear the Prime Minister preaching a need for peace while the Defense Minister is re-strategizing. It's coming from Song Derrick. I'm writing from Bonaberry. This one says, greetings dear panelists. The Anglophone elites are just hand clappers and the only ones to satisfy just their ego. Tabot Machiavelli writing there. Good afternoon to you all panelists. Remember the two Cameroons came together as equal states. Now one entity is giving the other a special status. What a hook divine from Bamenda. This other one read, it says, happy Sunday to you all in the studio. Great program. This one reads, good afternoon Mr. Javis. Thanks for Dr. Nick's intelligence and enlightening us. I just want to say that those that were tricked at the major national dialogue are Southern Cameroonians and not Anglophones. Are not Anglophones. Therefore, Vitalis are not Anglophones. Are Southern Cameroonians. Those that were tricked at the major national dialogue are not Cameroonians, are not Southern Cameroonians, and not Anglophones. But this is a contrary. Dr. Ningwanyam, you were at the Grand Major National Dialogue. You are an Anglophone. And people are saying that those who were called there at the Grand Major National Dialogue, who were tricked, are not Anglophone.
No, what that caller is, what that guy is saying is, we are not Anglophones. I mean, he's putting it in quotes. You know, it's just that when you are writing an SMS, you cannot really elaborate. So let's not take him to task over something that we don't understand. But what he tries to say is that you are not a committed. That is, you are not genuine. That's all he's saying.
But you attended the Grand Major National Dialogue.
Yes, of
course. It means that were you not genuine?
No, wait a minute. But behind that lies a lot. Behind that lies a lot, because there were genuine people there, but we had a monologue. All right, like I told you some time back, you know. Wait a minute. The solution to the Anglophone problem, or whatever problem, was to discuss the form of state. And then we go in there, and there are all these eight commissions to distract people, and then you bring people from Marawa East region and so on who have nothing.
They were still in Boya for the second evaluation.
How can you be evaluating something that failed? And then you confuse the place with it and so on. And the Anglophones who are supposed to be there to look at things, you squash them to the corner. Those that you are supposed to invite from the diaspora, you make it so difficult for them to come. And then you end up getting your own word out and you call it a dialogue. That was not a dialogue. But you know, even the cardinal was there, Nit Frundi was there, the bishops were there, all those people, they saw it, everybody was tricked. It doesn't mean that just because people... Wait a minute. Abobala was there, and if I'm lying, go ask Abobala, and this is something I want to explain again. I've said it before. The only thing that came close to being the commission that could solve the Anglophone problem to some extent was the Commission of Decentralization. And there was Barrister Abobala and Barrister Mba. I remember this morning where we came to, I was at the gate myself, the gate that was leading into the room where this thing was being discussed. You know, there were strict instructions not to let them in, and they literally had to fight with the gendarme. And I can't remember whether it's George Ewane who came around and then begged, and then they were let in or something like that. If I'm lying, please check out with Barrister Mba and Barrister Abobala. He will tell you that they had to fight their way into that hall. And when they got into the hall, even to be given the opportunity to speak was not easy. So this was a cooked up thing to derail everybody, and it was more of a monologue. And today, so this is it. A seed has to be sown. You sow a good seed and you have a sweet fruit, or you sow a bitter seed and you harvest bitter fruits. But the point is, the Prime Minister and others, they choose to sow a bad seed, and today there's a sour juice coming out of the fruit, and they're telling everybody that it's sour sweet, it's sour sweet. They're trying to make sour sweet. It's a lie. So all those things, it was not a dialogue, it was a monologue. Monologue means you have programmed people, and you come there and like cattle or sheep, you try to guide them through to come out at the other end, and then you sit and do your other thing. So that's why I kept saying that major national dialogue was not meant to solve a problem. It was a deceit. Back to your question.
People say you guys at the major national dialogue were giving you sums of money that you people backed home envelopes, and probably reasons why some people were unable to talk based on this envelope. How true is that assertion?
Oh, well, I guess it's true to a certain extent. It could be true to a certain extent because we were given comfortable hotels. I think my per diem was 500,000 francs or something like that. And I was in Jega Hotel. But you think you go and sell your nation because you were given 500,000 francs? 500,000 francs is my pocket money every 2 days. That's rubbish. No, but this is it. People were not allowed to express themselves. Dictatorship. And the real people who are bagging things, see all these people running around trying to reconstruction, want to reconstruct, those are the real people who want to make money. No. Let us solve the problem. Don't hurt people. And then when we are talking about reconstruction, even, it makes me laugh. And we have been saying that Ndian has all the oil and the resources and so on. But they have had ministers, all sorts of ministers, I don't want to call their names, but they have no road going to their place.
Not at all.
So you wait for the war to come, and it's in the course of the war that you want to construct the road, and you call it reconstruct. If you are going to build the road to Ndian, we will not say we are reconstructing the road to Ndian, because it has never existed. It's about constructing a road. Many things in West Cameroon. Yeah, many things in West Cameroon were never constructed. So to even talk of reconstruction is a misnomer. They don't exist, because what you were supposed to construct, you never constructed. Then in the midst of war, you want to construct it and call it reconstruct. You are not even going to construct it, because like always, the money will spill around and disappear.
Okay.
So it's true that the Prime Minister is in the southwest and his preaching peace is a good thing. If he wants to convince the rest of the nation, let him start by doing one thing. Forget about everything. Go and construct the road to Ndian. That's the challenge.
But they'll tell you that these contractors have been kidnapped.
Kidnapped by who? There's peace there.
No,
they have not been kidnapped. Delegates have not been kidnapped. Nobody has been kidnapped. It's okay. There's peace. Go and construct the road to Ndian. No excuse.
No, they said the non-state armed fighters are preventing these roads from being constructed because
really?
the one from Nake right up to
that
Bonguer,
means there is a problem. Therefore,
accept
the problem and solve it. That's exactly what we are saying. You cannot reconstruct when things are so chaotic.
Yeah.
Therefore, you must face the truth, correct it. Then you'll be able to reconstruct. But if you insist on constructing, there are people in the DDR center. They have dropped their guns. It's a lie. So if you want to prove that it's okay, go and construct the road to Ndian. Don't construct anything in the West Cameroon. Go construct the road to Ndian and we'll believe you.
Dr. Nguanyam, let me ask you this question that I was asked to raise about the issue of the Grand Measure National Dialogue. You just talked about it as far as monologue is concerned.
Yeah.
But people are complaining that, especially when it was read that the Prime Minister is chairing an evaluation meeting to look at the level of implementation of recommendations that were reached out. And that what they are asking is, do they evaluate a level of implementation of recommendations or resolutions? You were at the Measure National Dialogue. What came out from the Measure National Dialogue? Were they recommendations or resolutions? And if they were resolutions, what were the key resolutions that the common man should know, those who are watching us? Or do we chair now a meeting to look at the level of implementation of recommendations?
That's what happens when you are not telling the truth. That's it. Because as far as I'm concerned, I've told you from the beginning, if I could tell that the Major National Dialogue and the special status were fake, then there was no need. I mean, what it means that all those things, it doesn't matter how you call them or whatever, it's a bitter fruit with bitter results. Nothing good is coming out of it. And that is why it's the confederation that is going to solve this problem. It's the form of state. It's very important, where the governors and the SDOs, whatever we'll call them, will be elected. And the people will hold them to account
when they fail.
That is where the real things begin. If we keep beating around the bush, doing this, doing that, I've told him there's no need going to evaluate anything. Okay, if go and evaluate the road that has been constructed to Ndian, that is it. That's concrete.
I don't know if Galim is there with us. I don't know if our technical team has succeeded in reaching to Galim. Good afternoon, Galim. Okay, seemingly our technical team probably still working on. We want to apologize for having the difficulties to get our man on Skype. We know that we will certainly get to him since we still have close to 45 minutes or so. Jiwum Emmanuel, you've listened to Dr. Nguanyam. The Prime Minister was in Boya, and seemingly we had chiefs in Boya. Many are complaining that those from the hinterlands who are living their reality as far as the conflict is concerned were not called in to look at to be explained to as far as the level of implementation of these recommendations as far as this is the recommendation they are concerned. Seemingly, maybe there was a different strategy that the government was using to talk to these people through their leaders, because somebody said the chiefs that ran away from his village was only spotted in the meeting.
No, Tah Mai, you see, when we are talking about things of Cameroon, it is part of our patriotism that we accept to come on platforms and even propose what could be done. If not, we would have opted for another obnoxious method to be fighting the government. But yet, our voices that we give out, the government does not want to consider. You see, the government has maintained her stand of non-involvement of those who are directly affected. In the national monologue, the government of Cameroon knows where the government of Cameroon knows where Tapang is found. They know where Ayabacho is found. They know where Mark Barretta and co are found. Like I said, when you want to make peace, if shaking the hand with the devil brings peace, do it. But do you know that ironically, during this period, there was an international arrest warrant hanging over these leaders who were supposed to speak? That's one. Two, why do I continue? You have a worry when I call it monologue. Let me clear your worry today once and for all.
Yes.
It was a monologue because before going to that sitting, propositions were made by religious bodies, political parties, civil societies, and there is none of this organization that proposed a special status to the government, Tah Mai Javis. Everything was carted away. You just heard Dr. Nick giving names of some few people who had to battle with the gendarmen before getting into the hall. And in the hall,
to the committee of decentralization, that's Agobala and Barrister Agobala.
Yes.
And Barrister Mba, if I'm not mistaken.
Barrister Mba.
and there in the hall, they were not given the chance to express themselves. You see, it was already programmed. It was like a disc that was played, and it was just the rebroadcast that was released in Yaoundé. So nothing was actually discussed there, but the disc that was already programmed to be rebroadcasted in front of the people. So no political party, no organization ever sent a proposition to Yaoundé talking about special status. And I'm not sure that the 180-page document submitted by late Tumi, may his soul be resting in peace, had something inside called a special status. So that is why I continuously call it monologue. That said, you were asking a question about reconstruction.
Yes, I asked a question about reconstruction.
Yes.
And I also asked the question why those in the villages were not represented in the
Good.
in the Prime
yeah.
Minister's evaluation meeting, because
No.
one would have expected that the quarter head of Kwakwa, those in Kwakwa, the quarter head of Munyenge, Bafia, Munya, Ikona, all these people, the Prime Minister maybe would have talked to these same people so that they should go back to their community and explain to the other persons about what has been done so far, because it's a tradition that when, you know, elites come to Boya, they don't go to their people to talk about in the local way they will understand.
Tah Mai Javis, sometimes we blame the administration in Yaoundé, and we are right. But let us not forget to blame our Anglophone, this time I will call it our Anglophone, very dishonest political elite class. Let me be precise. The political elite class of Anglophone are one of the most dishonest people in the whole of this country. They are part of the 90% of the problem that the Anglophone community is living today. They could not bring these people because the people will be asking them questions that they cannot answer.
True.
The people will be asking them, you are the Prime Minister, what is happening with the road to Mundemba? The Prime Minister will not answer. Listen,
the armed groups are making it difficult now.
Tah Mai, there is no step and good, everything is under control.
Everything is under
Look,
control.
Tah Mai, they will be asking the Prime Minister, what is wrong with the CDC? He will not answer.
Yes.
They will be asking the Prime Minister, why is it that you are here and the whole place is ghosted? Only Amoka succeeded to put you here. He will not answer. I once told you people that I visited Boya, not on a ghost town day, and the number of armor cars I saw in Boya were more than the yellow taxis that are supposed to be transporting people to and from their job sites in Boya. And that tells it all that nothing is under control. So this Anglophone, very dishonest political class should stop the lies. That is where I joined Dr. Nick's voice. Lies have taken a better part of their hearts and their brains, and all they have to give out to the public now is lies, lies, and lies. And when you build with lies, nothing good comes from
Let me
lies.
do a follow-up. You say lies, lies, lies. There is, you know, the regional divisional assemblies that have been formed. Elections were conducted. Is that still lie from the government? At least we are testimony to that, to see that okay, these structures are existing. The budgets were even voted. We watch how they have had the different sittings, and we also watch how Chief Atem Ebako complained about the computers that were sent in French, and we had an elite from Gokitunja that also complained about the coordination in Northwest region, how the standing order was imposed, and that the budget that was supposed to have been sent to them.
No,
I want to. Is that still lie? We watch these bodies operating. That's still lie. Disarmament and demobilization. Kabakawe, Yannick, Nambere, and the rest. They are living freely. Yannick Scott, they are living freely. Is that still lies? The government is telling you. We are no. Let me. I want to throw it to you.
We are talking about honest.
No, we are talking about the bilingualism and multiculturalism commission, which is visible. We are seeing their effort. Is that still lie the government is telling us? These are visible things.
It is true that you are the moderator of this program, Tah Mai Javis, but permit me to also ask you a question. When was the last time you saw the regional assembly administrators on the field?
Yeah.
No, just tell me the last time you saw them. 2, tell me one visible thing that they did concretely on the field that the people said, oh, something is beginning to happen. No, except I am coming from another universe. But if I am still in this Cameroon, I want to tell you.
Can you hear me?
Clear.
Yes, I can get you, Ms. Angalim.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can get you. Yes, I can get you. I mean, in the womb, I can get you, Ms. Angalim. I don't know if you can hear me too. I can get you loud and clear. I don't know where I can get you loud and clear. I don't know if you can get me too from that end. Can you get me? Yeah, on. Hello, Mr. Ganim?
Jarvis, I can hear you.
Yes. Sorry, in the womb. Yes, in the womb was running up.
I lost your voice.
Can you get me now? Okay, while you are talking, when we'll get back to you, the womb.
Yes, so I was saying that there are certain things. We have gone past the period of imagination. Let's talk about things that are not abstract. Let's talk about things that are real. All the bodies before 2016, where the problems accrued both in the Northwest and the Southwest region, there were governors, there were institutions there. Nothing was functioning. Now, in the midst of a war, you have people there that you get them only by name. You are talking about chiefs that only appeared during the prime minister's visit, and they have not been on the field. Do you want to tell me that these chiefs are magicians that are working only through magic, that we cannot see them? So, Tah Mai Javis, to give you back the microphone, I started this program by telling you that the only time we heard in history that our forefathers used to carry water in the basket and it worked, and burning plantain stalks, was during the period of the states and kingdoms. It doesn't work now. So it is time the prime minister does something differently to get a different image from us. Good day. He is carrying water in the basket.
Good day, Mr. Javis. I just admire the frankness. I just admire the frankness and the practical manner in which Mr. Ndiwum states his facts. And Dr. Nick is here retired from Gorda. This other read, he says, good afternoon. Greetings to great panelists. Bravo to them. It's not easy to speak the truth as they are doing in a country like ours. It takes a lot of courage, but I hope that you are giving positions in the. I hope that if you are giving position in the government, they will not become like Issa Chiruma and they will not become like. Thank you, son of man. Okay, I don't know if you are connected, Mr. Galim. I
am Jarvis.
Yeah, I want us to look at the visit of the Prime Minister. We are sorry to get you this late. Briefly, what are your takeaway?
Thank you, Jarvis, and let me start by greeting everyone and apologizing for these technical issues that have kept me delayed all this while. Yeah, so regarding the Prime Minister's calculated attempt by the government of Cameroon to distract onlookers and stakeholders from the critical issues of the times. My honest appreciation is that the real deal was taking place in Bamenda, where the Minister of Defense went to Bamenda to reproclaim and redeclare the war that is going on and lay more emphasis on the war that is going to continue. And in order to distract the population and other stakeholders from paying attention to what the Minister of Defense was doing, they had to dispatch the Prime Minister to Buea to talk peace. And this is not the first time that this is happening. Some people have read this to be confusion with the government, but it is, in my view, not confusion. It is a calculated attempt to always distract, dilute the information, and stick to the war strategy. You would remember that in 2016, when Prime Minister Philemon Yang was in Bamenda, acknowledging that there was a problem, he termed the Yang problem. His subordinate, Atanganji Paul Laurent so Famendongo in Yaoundé, saying there is no problem. Then later on, when John Gute became Prime Minister, he was still in Bamenda with peace plans and saying there is going to be dialogue between every party. And he did not roll out any topic for conversation except the independence of the Southern Cameroons. Atanganji Paul was on France 24 saying there is no discussion with any terrorist. And now see the same script being played in Buea and in Bamenda. So overall, it is a strategy that the government is using to kind of distract everybody, put people at loggerheads so they will not take note of what is happening. But that said, I think we are in a situation whereby onlookers, stakeholders, and all other participants need to pay keen attention to what is happening because the war is ongoing. The military offensive is increasing every day. We see effectively that there can be no peace, as the Prime Minister was professing in Buea. Meanwhile, the government is dispatching more military hardware, dispatching another more sophisticated set of military personnel into the same region, and at the same time, the Prime Minister is saying that there is peace. There can be no peace while there is war. Diwum Emmanuel has made a very good historical perspective into this that I will not want to go into, starting from the Dane guns and the rubber guns onto the sophisticated machinery that we have today. And simply because the minister of the government missed the opportunity to negotiate at the right time, they opened up a Pandora's box where we now find Ambazonians entering into alliances with different movements. There is no way we can neglect the alliance between the Ambazonians and the Biafrans, because everyone has said that that Ambazonians get most of their weapons from Nigeria. Nigeria is a loose market, and the 1,400-kilometer border between Cameroon and Nigeria cannot be controlled. So the government keeps on creating more problems for itself, killing more people. And I am wondering more about the love and the patriotism in those who send these young soldiers to go die on the battlefield. They had said it was going to be 2 weeks. And if anyone could give a message of sympathy, a message of condolence, and a message of empathy, it would be to the soldiers who are still alive and who are going to be dispatched to go fight this war that has no genuine underpinnings. Because you would understand that a government would send soldiers whose decision or whose life has been put to the line to die for very fundamental reasons. But when you send soldiers to go die for ideological differences, you are putting their lives at stake unnecessarily. And I think there is coming a time when these soldiers are going to rise up and say, look, government, we are tired. We don't want to do this again, because we don't see why you would not sit down and talk with the protagonists of this crisis. Government has always claimed that they don't know whom to talk to, but that is inaccurate, because We know where Ayabacho is. We know where Sisiku Tabe is. We know where Bo Herbert is. We know where every other actor of the Ambazonian movement is. So government can actually sit and talk. And I think those families, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, wives, husbands of these soldiers need to start talking to the government and pressuring the government to save and preserve the lives of their relatives, because once they die, it's not Laurent Isso's daughter who dies or Betia Somo's son who dies. It is you and me who are losing family members. So family members need to start rising to the occasion to call the government to order and save the lives of their relatives. Thank you, Javis.
Very much. Let me take some few messages before getting back to Dr. Ningwanyam. Hello, Mr. Javis. The word elite is given to people in the world nation who abide to lie. I have never heard any francophone tell the amount received from the national dialogue. Dr. Ni said it there. The PM is trying hard to solve the many problems, but he is the wrong government reasons why President Paul Biya himself is Mark's your message is gotten. This other one read, it says hello Javis, the government of Cameroon are very dishonest. There must no amount of lies telling can solve a problem. You cannot kill innocent people and expect to have a change when people are hurt. There is no way you will kill people and don't expect vengeance from families. The military will keep on dying because no one will forgive them unless they change from their evil deed. The crisis can never stop. Your message is gotten. This other read, it says good day, Javis and all panelists. A great job, Ms. Andiu and Dr. Nick on the analysis. They are consistent on the truth in all facets. My regard to them. Konyi Shea from Bamenda. Good afternoon, Tah. I thought you will still. I really enjoy the way you moderated the program, and I usually follow it every Sunday. I love the way Ms. Andium and all your elite. Ms. Andium and all elite are liars. It's coming from Kim in Boya. Kim, yes, I am still where you thought I am still there. Yes, of course I am, and of course I need to diversify other means on weekends. Dr. Ningwanyam, let me come back to you. If you attended the Measure National Dialogue, if you look at the level of implementation of the recommendation so far on a scale of 10, let's go by government perspective now. Let's play by the government playbook and look at the level of implementation so far.
2 on 10. Two on 10.
Why do you say so?
Well, show me something else. Show me something else. They've built a few DDR center heads where they put a little bit of sewing machines there. The boys are there. They have nothing to do 24 hours. They're roaming. They're not given any useful skills. And if you count the number of children in those DDR centers and compare them with those that are fighting outside, I don't know, they're an insignificant number. And I understand some of the people who even went to the DDR center, they are in prison now for one reason or the other. You were saying Yannick, or who
he has been released.
He has been released, but why was he locked up in the first place? Why was he not given a job or something? Why did he have to be selling fuel?
But selling fuel is illegal in Cameroon, Dr. Ningwanya.
He's selling fuel,
especially when you
it's true. It's true.
You don't have a license.
Yeah, that's true. Congratulations. Selling fuel is illegal. What did you give him? And what did you give him? And then he abandoned it and he was selling fuel. What did government give him? Nothing. All right. So leave that. So there's all these things. Like I have said, our problem in Cameroon is that we don't know how to solve problems. We don't solve problems. We can talk from morning till evening, have commissions and seminars to evaluate seminars. You know, there's always a seminar to evaluate a seminar, and at the end of the day, nothing. And if we are going through round and round in circles, it's because, watch my lips, a lot of our elites, they deceive the president. You remember, I started 2 years ago to say that all these elites should stop writing these motions of support to the president. You remember, Mr. Ndum? Yes. And they have to all stop, right? Because many of them are liars. The president appoints you to do a job. You don't do the job. At the end of the day, you spend the time thanking the head of state, praising the head of state. He did not appoint you to become a choir master. He appointed you to do a job for the people. At the end of the day, the people hold the president accountable and to want to see results. And he has put some people there. Instead of the people delivering the job, they are praising the president. Oh, he's the most handsome. Is that what he appointed you for? And then now the country is burning and they don't know what to do, and they start spinning around in circles, blaming other people. In fact, they have spent a lot of the resources and the time doing the wrong things. And the good news is, number one, that they have stopped praising the president, because if you praise the president now, I think you should be the one to be investigated. It's mostly those people have stopped. And then you would have seen also what is happening with this renouvellement des organes de base.
Reorganization.
Have you seen what is? Have you seen the pattern? There's that fighting. That fighting
is an awesome attack at the Jewish residents.
Good. That fighting.
Come for me.
Well, I honestly don't like violence and fighting, but to every coin there are two faces. There's something good about that fighting that we should share, and we should learn a lesson from that fighting. That fighting tells you that the young people, those that have been marginalized, are fed up, because when they were trying to reorganize, the same old crooks again, not francophones and anglophones, I mean across the board, they come again and are trying to do their old things. And then the young people are saying enough is enough. And Mr. Ndiwuma, I have always been talking about the progressive CPDM, and a lot of people did not understand. The progressive CPDM is this mindset where you're moving from this old sclerotic way of doing things to reasoning out of the box. The youth want to reason out of the box. The youth wants to grow. They want to do things differently, but these old people are clamping down on them. That's why there is a fight. And like I was saying on social media, that fight in the CPDM is a beautiful thing. It tells you that the country is waking up. It tells you that those are the birth pangs of the progressive CPDM. And once the progressive CPDM comes to light, the country will change.
Greetings to you people. Greetings, people should not misunderstand what Mindev said. He said the military should change an approach. And Mindev also for clarification, and said and it is clear that it means peaceful approach, saying that the Mindev means peaceful approach. This is coming from Nkimbi Promise, militant of FSNC from the northwest region of the country. This other one reads, say, good afternoon, everyone in the studio. I appreciate the frankness and objective approach to this topic of discussion. The truth is that even the Prime Minister knows deep inside him that what he is doing cannot bring a lasting solution in the crisis in the northwest and the southwest region. If he was given an opportunity to single-handedly solve this, he will be able to do that in no time. I think that he stands tight. That I think his hands are tight and simply implementing the policy of the head of state. It's coming from Bonkisheri Victorine in Boya. Victorine, your message is gotten. Max from Germany says, okay, Max, your message is gotten. This other one read, says, good afternoon, Mr. Javis, nice program. God bless you guys for what you guys are doing, and may God give you guys the strength. Thank you very much. This one reads, it says, hello, Javis panelists, more strength to your endeavor. Only the truth that is spoken with love, respect shall set the thank you, La Republic. I am Fabrice from Douala. The government should better understand that they can't kill the spirit. They can raise it to the Anglophone fighting, because trying sort of method to wipe out Anglophone fighting and is not going. It's better they now understand that the spirit they raise in Anglophone is not going to die. This other one, I don't know the sender. Jimum Emmanuel. People are saying that the head of state is absent, is silenced as far as this conflict is concerned in the northwest and southwest region. But when the Prime Minister went to Boya, he said he has come from firm instruction of the head of state, and that he has been sent by the head of state to chair over the level of implementation. And this is the first time that this is taking place out of Yaoundé, to tell you that there is decentralization, because at least it's the first time that is taking place out of Yaoundé based on what happened in Boya.
Tah Mai. Hey, you too. Hey,
No, but that's
Tah Mai.
Is it not the first time it's happening in?
Hey.
Is it not the first time that this is happening in
Well,
out of Yaoundé?
I have often told you people
that the
that
delegation that was meeting was supposed to head in Yaoundé is held in Boya.
Tah Mai Javis, in a country of 28 estimated million of people, active population that is ruled by an inactive population, in a country where those who are struggling to move the country cannot move, then the country is bound to be on the same spot. Where is Mr. Biya? I have the impression, like any other concerned Cameroonian, that Mr. Biya has remained a president for the 31st of every December on television. We are not feeling him. I think he's the number one person. He's even the chief of the armed forces. He's the one who was supposed to be in Bamenda, not Joseph Beti Asomo. Because for 5 years, Mr. Biya has never stepped a leg out of Yaoundé.
Asomo also said he was coming based on firm instruction from the head
Yes,
of state.
yes, I have heard. You see, these things of firm instruction, Cameroon is the only country that is ruled on firm instructions, and he who gives the firm instruction has never been seen implementing any of such firm instruction. I used to laud the initiative of Let Debi, because when Boko Haram struck Chad, he was the one who pleated his shirt, took a gun, went to the war front and said, hey, look, Boko Haram, you are not here to meet children. You are here to meet the man in command. And he retracted. We cannot always copy bad examples. Let Mr. Biya copy a good example to know that when you are a leader, you are at the forefront. You are not a leader when you are in hiding. We only get instructions, and we are preparing for the 31st of December to hear him speak. No. Mr. President, we understand your itch. We understand few things that you have done. Not every president must be successful. If you discover that you are not successful or you have not been successful, it is time you step down. You give the chance to the new generation.
Are you calling the head of state that have been active and successful?
Yeah, he's inactive. Mr. Tah Mai Javis, before I give back the microphone to you, something is missing in this country. And that thing that is missing in this country is patriotism, love for fatherland. Back in the 90s, when the Lions were to play a match, you would do everything at home in time to be glued to your TV set. Each time you got the sound, Ale, 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 Le Leon, there was a spirit in you that you could not, unexplainable. There was a spirit of love. There was a spirit, a kind of spirit that you could not even explain where it was coming from. But today, that patriotism is missing. Sometimes you only hear that the Lions played a match and they were beaten.
Okay.
Because a lot of things have gone wrong. But Mr. Tah Mai Javis, this is what I have to say today to the military and the Amber Boys. I prescribe you this dialogue. Those who are seated in their comfort zones in Yaoundé are not the ones dying. If there's a possibility for you, the military people and the Amber, to have a dialogue within yourself and save your lives from dying, because you are dying for nothing. Those who are sending you to go and die that they don't care about you, dialogue within yourselves and save your lives because you are useful to your family.
Okay, thank you very much. Happy Sunday to you all, to all of you great minds in the studio. Ego Fine One Day. Ego Fine One Day is coming from Sambum in Bali. Good afternoon, Mr. Javis. Greetings to you all in the panelists in the studio, most especially Dr. Ningwanyam, whom I admire so much each time he is in the house. You are doing good work. I listen to your program, and I would like to say only the head of state has the final ways and solutions to the ongoing war in this west of Cameroon, and whatever the Prime Minister and other so-called ministers are doing will yield no fruit. This is coming from Mustafa from New York in the United States of America. We are gradually out of time. Mr. Ngalim, are you there?
Yes, Jarvis.
Well, I want to find out as far as you are there. What is your take-home message for these for Cameroonians, and also what is your advice to Cameroon's Prime Minister looking at what happened in Boya?
Jarvis, one of the most stupid things I may be doing in my life is to try to advise the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister of Cameroon is not an ignorant man. He knows the Southern Cameroon's problems very well. He's one of the lawyers who defended Cameroon against the Southern Cameroonians at the African Commission of Human and People's Rights. So he knows the facts, and he knows that this problem is a problem that deals with ideology, and the large majority of Southern Cameroonians, following from the survey conducted by Christian Cardinal Toumi and the Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation, know where they stand. And they stand for a position where they need to sit down, make their decisions by themselves, and define their future by themselves. All what is happening in Yaoundé is playing to the gallery, and the Prime Minister knows that. So it serves for nothing to advise the Prime Minister. The same as the Prime Minister knows that he went to Boya for a picture op. He did not go to Boya to do anything. If there was anything that could come out of that, he should have come out even since 1961 out of the Fuman conferences. So he knows that what he is doing is not going to bring any result. I would rather have an advice for Southern Cameroonians. I would rather have an advice for the Cameroonian soldiers. It bleeds and it hurts when you see people dying every day, even military people. When somebody decides to be a soldier, that person signs up to defend people. And when the government and the Prime Minister decide that what matters to them more is territory, and they send students to go and die, it calls on us, people with consciences, to advise the military to know that they are themselves. They have human lives. They are people's parents. They are people's fathers and mothers. They are people's children. And once they die, it is their family that suffers. Cameroon does not suffer because somebody dies on the war front. You die today and a different site is recruited tomorrow. Who cares? Who cares? But as somebody who thinks he is patriotic enough, soldiers should offer themselves to die for a just cause. If you want to die, die for a just cause. The war they are fighting in the Southern Cameroons is not a just cause, and it should not offer people the luxury of taking away their lives. Irrespective of what the government and CPD and people would say and other fanatics would say, this war is not a just cause. The propaganda has been, this is a war that is going to be won in 2 weeks. But we are well done into 5 years. And if nothing is done, we're into the 6th year. And still, people will keep on dying. I saw pictures of soldiers dying in Kumbu yesterday. In the last week, we saw pictures of soldiers dying. Explosive devices are coming on. We hear about a certain Field Marshal No Pity who is causing havoc. You can take him out, but it's not going to end. Ivor was there. Ivor was taken out. Field Marshal came up. It's a rotating and non-conventional war, and Ambazonians have proven that they are ready to take this to the end point. So the only advice I can give to soldiers on the Cameroonian side is be watchful and remember that your life is your life. When you die, your kid, your wife, your brother, your father, your mother would mourn. They would grieve. But the person who sent you to the field to go offer your life doesn't lose sleep. After all, we saw when the Minister of Defense was going to Bamenda, he was in one of the most sophisticated, how do you call those things? Armored cars that Cameroon has, even though it's not in terms of sophistication for a sophisticated military. But he was well protected. When Prime Minister John Gute is going to Boya, he's well protected. When Lele Lafrique is going out, he's well protected. When DOs and SDOs, they are well protected. And the soldiers are sent in to go and offer themselves. So soldiers need to think twice and make decisions that would impart upon themselves and upon their families so that the families can live a happy life. Thank you very much, Javis.
Banyam, we are out of time. You are of the CPDM party.
Yes.
What advice do you have for your fellow CPDM militant ministers, Cameroonians?
Oh, thank you very much. Like I stated before, the great news that I have for you is that this fight that is going on in the field is a great fight, and the young are taking over those CPDM positions, fight and take them, and begin to do things properly. That is the spirit of the progressive CPDM. These other ones, these are the deceitful.
You're talking about the infighting within the CPDM.
Yeah, it's a good fight. It shows that the young have come of age, and they have to take over that power and begin to do things properly and be accountable. It's a great thing. And before I give you back the microphone, to say that this war would end in one of two ways. The war that is going on now will end in one of two ways. Number one, all those, there are some professors who sit on television and keep saying there must be war, go and fight and so on. This is how the war is going to end, in one of two ways. A, that the generals and colonels who are sitting in air-conditioned offices with the ministers, they take the guns just like debris of take the gun like the generals of Chad and go to the war front. Let your own children too. It takes 6 months to train them. Remove your own children, train them, and send them to the war front. Then we will know that you like war. I tell you, if we were to do that, the war will stop overnight. Number two, this war will stop with a new dialogue that will be followed by reconciliation and unity in the nation. And it is not this current government that will do it. It's the next government, because this one doesn't have the capacity, the moral capacity to do it. It is the next government that will do it under President Paul Biya. Thank you.
That means you are saying that we have, you're saying we have probably
even if it's 50 years, it's another government, not this one.
We're out of time, Zoom. Emmanuel, your last word before we take leave of you.
What I wanted to say is that since this government wants repetition, we will keep repeating. Maybe one day it will end, it will stop. Look, an ideology can never be gone down. You can kill a terrorist, but you cannot kill terrorism with a gun. You cannot kill a spirit in a people by force. It takes a higher spirit, more beautiful than the present spirit, to subdue that one. That is exactly what the government should do. And I end again by repeating to the military and the amber, dialogue within yourself. Forget about those who are sending you. They don't care about you. Think about your life. Because when you die, it is your family that loses you. It is not Yaoundé. There are military men who have run away from Cameroon, and the Cameroon government has never made a simple communique, because the government knows that they were all dead in Manfé, but whereas today they are not in Cameroon. They disappeared because they found it funny killing their own brothers. And that is enough to tell you, our military brothers, that Yaoundé do not care about you.
You are saying so, but people will tell you that they are defending their territorial integrity. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Galim. It's been a privilege to have you.
Thank you very much for having me on the program, Javis. Difficulties we had at the very beginning, I think these things happen, it's man-made, and I think next time is going to be more useful and fruitful being on the panel. My regards to everyone and viewers of my Media Prime. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank God. A new life is always a blessing.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you very much. Let's look forward to truth and love, respect, and for merit and respect for others in this country. We need a paradigm shift so that we can move our country forward. The country is in a lot of difficulties, and we all have to come on board and try to solve the problems. Fighting each other is not the problem. And even if you go with the military and kill every Anglophone born, and those that are exist and those that are unborn, that is not the solution to the Anglophone problem. Killing is not the problem.
Thank you,
it's not the solution.
Thank you, Tah Mai Javis, and thanks for I'm elated once more for sharing the panel with Dr. Nick. It's been a while.
Of course.
Some people already thought that maybe I was pocketed. No, I was free. I'm free. I'm around. I'm a teacher, so I'm so tired of this time around.
Next week, Sunday, we shall be having Barrister Nkea and Dr. Chamani to look at the Minister of Defense communique as far as the killing of the 15 soldiers are concerned. Based on that, we were told that it has political undertone and significant, as a great significance in it, that was a declaration of war and that the head of state may use his prerogative as is found in the Constitution. This program comes up every Sunday at exactly 12 to 1:30 p.m. Rebroadcast on Monday at 9:30 p.m. Rebroadcast on Sunday, the same Sunday at 10:30 p.m. It will be on our YouTube channel. BT Media Group is our YouTube channel. You can subscribe. You have all of our programs on our YouTube channel, BT Media Group. Our Twitter handle is My Media Prime, Facebook My Media Prime. If you want to be a panelist to the program, my numbers is on the screen. You can contact me on my number. I'll leave you with this: no matter the matter, what matter is your matter. No matter the matter, what matter is your matter. And what should matter for you this day is that Christ said, "My peace I leave you, my peace I give you." Peace be unto you and to your family. God bless you. My name is Tah Mai Javis from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Fengujong, Bange Kotobo Namusadi.